Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 101. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
I'm Dobber. What's happening?
Whoa.
What's going on?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what that was. Look, I had this whole big plan. I had this pitch. I had this lead into the show that was going to build unity. We were going to come together as one. But
where's your helmet at?
It's under the table. Do you want me to put it on?
That
That didn't work out well for us, JB. That didn't work out well for us. Never have to wear that thing again. That's the only good thing that came out of Saturday. But I had this whole pitch. I was going to build unity among us all, but then some breaking news happened right before we went live. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But first, let's hit this live chat. Let's see who is here. Let's see who is hanging out. Alan V, the king of the Troll Patrol, was here. He was here yesterday, like 10 minutes after I created the live stream. He was in the chat asking if he was the first here. You are, Alan. Congratulations. Tim Bradley was here hanging out. Smash that like button. Went on to church, as we all should be doing. But he'll check out the show on the replay. James Gentry is hanging out in the chat. IC86. Cody Branch says, I'm here, boys. No worries. We know you're here. You are here every week. Robert Craig is here smashing that like button. Guys, we're glad you're here. Like I said, we're going to get into Georgia. We're going to look ahead to Kentucky for the second week in the history of this show. We're going to do some full-on SEC pick'ems. I'm excited about that. Dobber put some work in for that. You guys are going to see that shortly. But we're glad you're here. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. But, guys, we got some breaking news right before we went live, and it just kind of goes hand in hand with the other stuff going on this week. Florida has canceled all football activities. Their game with LSU is canceled. Vanderbilt and Missouri is canceled. And now, right before we go live, we get the news that Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID. And first, before we even talk about how this impacts football and the SEC, first and foremost, prayers go out to Nick Saban. Like, I don't care who you are. It's kind of like when Trump came down with it. Like, be an adult. Be an adult. This is a human being with family. So prayers and well wishes for Nick Saban. But JP, how do you think this is going to impact things? We got 2 games canceled, and the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide now will not be on the sideline on Saturday.
Yeah, I know it. And it also makes you wonder if he'll be available next Saturday when
there's no
coming to Knoxville.
It'll be close because it has to be at least 14 days.
Well, from what I read, and I don't understand that either, but supposedly if you test positive, it's 10 days, but if it's contact tracing, it's 14. So I guess I don't understand that, but I guess it's because you're probably saying that you've already a few days into it, I guess, once you test positive or whatever. But anyway, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure that they test all of their players every day. So tomorrow might be telling again because, they've got that protocol that you got to have so many scholarship players available to play. So we'll see. But, yeah, prayers for Nick Saban. We all, as Tennessee fans, as far as being on the sidelines, we can't stand him with that. But certainly, like you said, this is way more serious than any kind of football game or anything like that. So,
I can hate a human being and still wish him well.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if Alabama ends up with some more positive tests tomorrow.
You would think so.
The athletic director has also tested positive.
Yeah.
And it is sort of worrisome with Saban being 68. He's sort of in that upper demographic where it starts to be more of an issue when you do contract the virus. One thing I'll throw out there, Boogie, you said canceled on the games.
Yeah, it's postponed.
They are postponed, not canceled. The Vandy game has already been rescheduled. What I saw was the Florida LSU. They've not put a date out, but they will.
I saw the rumors early were immediately after the Florida Tennessee game. So what's that? The 12th?
Yeah, because that's the built-in bye week that they have. When they came out with this COVID schedule is that they've got an extra week before the scheduled SEC championship game. But I think that if you see more and more of these games being postponed and stuff, I think
you're going to run out of time.
End up, yeah. So there's two options then. I mean, you just basically just halt it and suspend it and, say that you're not playing after you went through all this, or you're going to have to extend the season and look to possibly be playing the end of January.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to that's the questions we were asking before the season started. You can say, well, we can postpone, we can delay, we can do whatever, but what happens when Florida has to postpone 1 week and then 2 weeks and then 3 weeks? You're building up these games that you don't have room to reschedule those. So are we just seeing the beginning of the end? Is this all just wishful thinking and college football going to come crashing and burning? I mean, look, the NBA got their season in. Major League Baseball is getting their season in. But I don't know. I think football might be a different animal.
Could be. I mean, football is a much heavier contact sport than any of those. I know basketball, you're right on top of guys, but it's 5-on-5. Football is.
Well, they were also in that bubble too.
And correct, they were in the bubble. It's just funny. One of the things that I had thought about prior to the season starting was that they built in those 3 weeks prior to the season starting. They pushed the season back. Why do that? Why not delay it a week or so, and then you have the extra time that you can build in at the end? It's kind of like the school system is and snow days. You should have a bank of time where if something comes up, and that's like we talked about before the season began. It was what happens when a team does have an outbreak. What happens? Where are they going to go? And that's we're right in that now. That's a question that is going to have to be answered. Will the SEC just bow down to Saban and say, oh, we just need to pause everything?
I cannot. I know JP said it in our private. I just cannot see that happening. I cannot see that happening at this point in time. Maybe eventually it happens. I just can't see it right now.
I mean, I'm already on record before the season started saying that I wouldn't be shocked at all if they didn't come up and end up, just canceling the Georgia-Bama game and just saying that there's no way to make it up, just so that they don't have to play each other in the regular season and then again in the SEC championship game.
Right.
So I don't know.
Michael James says, any chance of a doubleheader? That'd be like the old UFC days where they fought like 2 and 3 times in a night, just concussed, broken bones, just keep fighting the whole time. Les Wadley's here and says, hey, how many other teams are holding Sunday scrimmages? Les, we're going to get into that. Stick around. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But Hopkins Lacrosse fan drops a $10 super chat and says, good evening, gentlemen. I think the remainder of the season rests on the offensive line. If we keep the quarterback clean, we are a top 10 team. P.S. Loving Dobber's Titleist hat. Dobber, do you want to fill him in on the truth, or do you want me to?
Hey, I'll. Boogie suggested that I change the hat that I had on prior to starting up tonight. Had one of my Braves hats on tonight, kind of celebrating the last 2 evenings, and then
that's not going well so far this evening. Dobber.
Boogie said that he had a little bit of an update from Robert, one of our other buddies who's in the chat there, and said that it was like 11-0 in the first. So
yeah,
good time to change the hat.
Yeah. So
speaking of change, let's go ahead and change gears. Let's do it. We got to talk about it. Let's get into the Tennessee Georgia game just briefly, and then we'll move forward.
Don't turn the ball over 3 times in one half. It's pretty simple, guys. It ain't about timeouts. It ain't about it's about turning the ball over 3 times in the second half. It's about not being able to run the football. It's about getting off the field on 3rd down. It's everything that I said in my opening statement. So, those things we got to fix, and we'll work hard to do that. I really think a lot of our guys, or most of our guys, played with really good effort. I don't think we executed at a very high level all the time. And then I think there's probably some guys on our team that didn't play good at all. I don't think there's many of them, but I do think there's a couple of them. And you need to play games like this to figure out, kind of who we are. So obviously we got to go back in there and if we're playing with really good effort, we got to execute at a higher level. And I saw a lot of that. I think our guys played hard. I just don't think we played smart all the time.
There's a lot to unpack in Coach Pruitt's press conference statements there. We're going to dig into it. I kind of talked about this at the top of the show. Saturday night emotions are high. We go live right after the game ends, and sometimes that can be tough. And everybody after a loss, everybody wants to point a finger. They want to hold somebody responsible. Who's to blame? And the reality is, after that Georgia game, this is a team game. And Pruitt said this. I know it wasn't in the clip there, but we win together and we lose together. And Tennessee had an opportunity on Saturday to prove they belong at the top of the SEC. And I think they got a reality check. But I think the important thing is at this point, you got to build on it. You got to learn from it. The word I keep hearing, I heard so many times this week is flush it. And then in the words of Coach Pruitt, let's work like heck and get better. JP, opening thoughts after a few days to let things simmer and rewatch the game. Take in some news. What are your comments on the Georgia game?
I mean, the offensive line played horrible. I mean, they absolutely played horrible. And, that was the biggest issue. It was them and the lack of blocking from the running backs and the tight ends. I mean, simply put, blocking was pathetic for everybody. I mean, it was just absolutely pathetic. But the most disappointing thing to me, yes, we got manhandled at times. There was times that, Cade Mays got beat coming off the edge. There's times, certainly Wanya Morris got beat coming off the edge. But just the communication issues and not knowing who to block. And there was on that interception that JG threw, we literally let two guys come free unblocked while three of our linemen blocked two other guys. We had the tight end that went in front of one of the stand-up rush ends, never laid a hand on him, never tried to slow him down or anything. I mean, that's what was so disheartening about it is we went back to those same problems that we had in 2018 and the early part of last year, that we didn't know who to block. And that's where I get frustrated about it. And that's where I start saying that there's a coaching issue there. When you don't know what to do, then I think then you have to start looking, well, why are the coaches not getting them in the correct position and teaching them, if you see this is who that you're supposed to block. And I mean, and I don't want to hear about any excuses about, this is a young football team. Across the offensive line, we've got more experience there than any other position. And
and when it comes out that you can't identify the Mike linebacker, and that falls on the center who is
6 years.
Yeah, we're talking about next year he comes back. He could be a 7th-year senior. I mean, come on. That makes there you go, Dobber. Yeah. Yules in the chat talking about the Braves.
I see it. Hey, look at the series right now, though. 2-1.
You called it. I knew that was coming. Or no, it was Robert. Robert called that.
Don't you ever wear that hat again, Dobber. You jinxed him.
Yeah.
He didn't even know. He didn't even know. That's how fast it happened. He didn't even know what the score was.
Yeah, I was sitting in there watching it before we came up here, and I was like, well, I don't have to worry about keeping up with this score anymore.
Yeah.
What about you, Dobber? I don't know if you got a chance to rewatch it, but I know you took in the news. You listened to the press conferences, all that good stuff.
I watched the Pruitt show on Sunday. Watched some bits and pieces the last couple of days. And I think I've kind of gone through the stages of grief from anger to depression. I think I'm finally to acceptance, and I've kind of gone back and done some evaluating. You got to think, and I know JP just said no excuses. This isn't a young team, but you got to look at the fact we're 3 years out from this team being winless in conference. 3 years out from, just one of the worst teams in school history. I think you're delusional if you can put the blame on Pruitt. You can put the blame on Chaney. You can put the blame on Garantano. You can't put it on one person, one position group. The offensive line played horrible, but look at the fact we had 10 penalties, highest penalty total of the season. We had 3 turnovers, hadn't turned the ball over yet. It's not one thing more than the other. It's the grand collective and the sum total of all of that. And it wasn't like we had a couple things go wrong. It was bits and pieces of everything seemed to kind of just come together, and it was like flipping a switch from the first half to the second half. And Garantano was struggling. So it was harder for Chaney to call plays. Garantano was struggling because the offensive line was struggling. So Chaney's struggling to call plays because Garantano's struggling because the offensive line is struggling. So it's one of those things. How do you correct that problem when it's a combination of errors and it's a thing that snowballs?
And it's a combination of errors, and it's also you got to give Georgia credit. Georgia's a really, really good football team, and they're not the type of football team that you can go out there and do this on. And that's, the clip I posted in the Talkin VAWLS Facebook group. If you want to be a part of that, just search it on Facebook. We'll get you added. And yeah, I'm trolling you guys a little bit because, especially JP, because he's harping on Chaney. And I love validation. I love when I have an opinion and a guy that played college football is saying word for word what I said on Saturday, but it's because I believe it. I believe it. And I think emotions get the best of us, and it's easy to come on here and say, bench Jarrett Garantano. He cost us the game. Fire Jim Chaney. He doesn't know what he's doing. But then when I see a guy like Swain break down the film and talk about what would you call? What would you call when your offensive line is not performing? And he even addressed, what JP was talking about Saturday, getting to the perimeter, try to run the ball outside. And he addressed that and talked about how they tried to do that with Hyatt on the end around, and they tried to do it with little quick hitters, and they lost yardage and ended up in 3rd and long. And 3rd and long is where they ended up turning the football over. So it's like, it's a tough situation. But at the end of the day, it goes back to what Dobber said. You can't pinpoint one person. It's not the offensive line's fault. It's not Jarrett Garantano's fault. It's not Jim Chaney's fault. It's the team's fault. We win together, we lose together. That's the reality of it.
And there was mistakes made, offense, defense, special teams, coaches, everybody. However, but the offensive line played pathetic. The running backs blocked no one, and if they played halfway decent, Tennessee is in that football game. But because of their lack of playing and their lack of being able to block somebody or to even know who to block, took away any opportunity for Tennessee to pull that upset Saturday. It did. And, going back to Chaney, I've read a lot of articles. I've watched a lot of videos from a lot of people that it's their job to follow Tennessee football since Saturday. And every one of those talk about that Jim Chaney had a bad game Saturday. And it's fine. He did. He did. You can say he had a bad game, and you could say he needs to be fired. That's two different mindsets. I never said he needed to be fired.
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying you did. But there are people out there that are saying that, and that's too much.
Say that.
That's an overreaction. That's an overreaction.
That's just the fan being just overacting with it. But you go back to talking about, trying to run wide and with Jalen Hyatt. I didn't like that play call at all because it was a reverse, and Jalen Hyatt had to go behind Garantano, who's already in shotgun. So it's like 7 yards at least, probably behind the line of scrimmage, where Jalen Hyatt gets that ball against Georgia. That didn't make any sense to me. I'm running the jet sweep where Jalen Hyatt comes in motion and he hands off to him right there, a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage, and all that Jalen Hyatt has to do is try to just run 3 yards and turn up field from the tackle there. That's the kind of stuff I didn't understand.
Or like we saw the previous weekend, get Gray in space. Give him a little swing pass to the side. Get him in space in the open field. Let him make a move and go. I mean, it's easy to second guess and to look back and to say we could have, should have. The fact is we didn't. The fact is the second half, I think we were outcoached. And I think Georgia, I think their front line, I think they're the real deal. I think.
No doubt. I mean, Georgia's defense is from what I've seen, and of course, not everybody's playing yet, Ohio State and stuff, but I'm telling you, I mean, that Georgia defense is nasty.
I think they're the best in the country. And I think Alabama's going to get all they want and then some on Saturday. And we'll get into our picks here a little bit later, but let me tell you something. I think Georgia's the best football team in the country, boys. And I've been saying it for 2 weeks. That quarterback that everybody likes to hate on.
I think defensively they are.
He ain't as bad as everybody thinks he is. My thing is with Tennessee trying to run the outside is the speed of that Georgia defense. I just don't. And it's ifs, ands, and buts, boys. We can sit here and talk about it all night long.
But the problem is Tennessee, we don't have the running backs. That's not their style. Yes, I mean, we can do it against Missouri, and hopefully maybe we can do it against Kentucky and stuff. But, Gray's not between the tackles runner. I mean, he is because that's all that we have.
And really, Chandler's not either. Really,
he's not. No, Chandler. I mean, is fast. He's probably actually overall faster than Gray. He's just not as shifty as Gray. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what frustrated me about Chaney. It was like that we never tried to even, in my opinion, try to put Georgia in a situation where
they're vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
I felt like
there was no motion. There was no shifting.
That's the best thing you said.
There's nothing.
On the Indie Kids Day After video, when you talked about there's no shifting, there's no motion, that may be the best comment you made, in my opinion, because there's nothing done to kind of look at the defense and say, are they in man? Are they in cover? Are they in cover two? There's nothing pre-snap. It's just set up and go. And that does bother me. It concerns me.
That's what I don't understand. I mean, we're playing the best defense who has talent, at every single level, and basically we just line up
and run it.
We
like
left them
school.
shift, and I mean, even that was maddening because it was like that they saw that on tape, but it was like our offensive lineman had never even seen that before. And I'm like, what the heck? Change up the snap count or something.
You counted for at least 3 false starts.
Tate May saw it every day and he was guilty of jumping one or two of those times.
Let me hit these super chats and then we'll continue the conversation. Michael Palmer, $4.99 super chat. Thank you for the support. We definitely appreciate it. You don't run to the outside against speed. You have to run right at it, and our line played too soft. I don't know. Look, I agree with what Michael Palmer's saying, but I agree with what JP's saying. I feel like Chaney didn't adapt. If there's one thing I would say, I feel like he didn't change the game plan. But if I'm defending Chaney, I felt like they were against the chains all night long because of penalties and stupidity. All night long because of penalties and stupidity. Dayon Cuberson for $1.99 says, Swain loves some JG. It is ridiculous. Well, guess what? He's not the only one.
But was there any point in the second half where y'all consider making a change of quarterback?
Well, Jarrett's our quarterback. He gives us the best opportunity to have success. It's the way the game goes, right? I played quarterback. When you have a lot of success, the quarterback gets probably too much credit. When you don't have success, quarterback probably gets too much blame. There's offensively, our struggle Saturday were not because of one independent person. It was a team effort. We understand that. Starts with us as coaches to put our guys in a better position to have success. And then from a player standpoint, we got to own it, and we've got to do a better job executing.
Interesting points from Coach Pruitt. I think it's pretty clear Jarrett Garantano is the guy. We've been saying it since week 1. He ain't getting benched unless he absolutely cost them a game. And I don't think he cost them the game against Georgia. I think I said it Saturday, you could take any quarterback in the SEC and put him in a Tennessee jersey, and I think the outcome's the same. But I do like the fact that they are, somebody earlier mentioned the scrimmage on Sunday, and Harrison Bailey took every single snap in that scrimmage. I think they're trying to bring him along and trying to get him ready. But I think that Jarrett Garantano, whether you like it or not, and I'm not sitting here trying to say that Jarrett Garantano is this great quarterback and that he played a great game against Georgia. Yeah, you got to protect the ball. You can't make stupid throws. The interception was ridiculous. I get it. But he gives this team the best chance to win, and I firmly believe that. And I'm sorry that I trust Jeremy. Look, if Jeremy Pruitt can't determine whether Garantano, Maurer, Shrout, or Harrison Bailey, if he can't determine who the best quarterback is out of the 4, guess what, boys? We're screwed. It don't matter. Nothing else matters. If we can't have confidence in Jeremy Pruitt to pick the best quarterback on the team, this team ain't coming back until he's gone. Period.
I don't know what the situation is down there at quarterback. I don't know why that we can't recruit somebody to at least push him.
Harrison Bailey may, but
that's the part of it that I just don't understand is the players that we've signed the last two or 3 years. I mean, it's obvious that they're not based on everything that you hear the coaches say that they're just not even nowhere near the level of Garantano. So I don't know. Maybe he's like Peyton Manning in practice. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure out. I mean, I don't know.
No, I just think I don't know. My personal opinion, I think he protects the ball better than the other two, which is almost comical coming off the game Saturday. I get it. But at the same time, Maurer wasn't healthy during camp. Harrison Bailey, look, the kid was going to prom like 12 months ago. But he is the next Peyton Manning, and I get it. It's the sexiest position on the team. Everybody in the chat loves it. Everybody in the chat loves Harrison Bailey. He's the next Peyton Manning. What do you have to prove that to me? What do you have that tells me he's better than Jarrett Garantano? And I love you guys. I love your opinions. I love that you're here. But it's a wish and a prayer. Is it not, Dobber?
The lack of spring practice, the limited fall camp, that's what killed any kind of quarterback battle and any kind of progression. And like you said, Maurer was dealing with the hamstring, kind of gimped up. You had Shrout, actually, from everything that I saw in the limited fall workouts, leapfrogged him because of his injury and all of that. So it's one of those things. Yeah, JP, nobody seems to be pushing Garantano, but is anybody there to push him right now?
I know.
Has anybody had the opportunity? So I think
Shrout and Maurer definitely have. So,
I mean, rather than throw out there an unknown, that the best option is to go with somebody that's been in big games, somebody that has the experience, and you just hope that he plays to the potential that he can. Yeah, Robert, yeah. Neal, I said this to JP a couple weeks ago when he was talking about Maurer. Last year, 5 picks to 2 touchdowns for Maurer. And how is that better than where JG is?
Because he's the backup quarterback. That's why.
I know JG struggled early and the whole team struggled early last season, but JG kind of came around. I've said it all along. He is not the type of quarterback that is going to come in and take a game over and just, set records and throw deep balls and, fling it all over the place. He is in there because he is going to protect the ball. And like Pruitt said in the clip that we played earlier, he gives the team the best opportunity to win football games.
Yep. And when you look at that, George,
look at what Troy Lee. I mean, Troy Lee's bringing up a good point. That's what I'm saying. Something.
No, but is it a good point? What does Missouri have to do with Tennessee? What does that have to do with Tennessee? That has nothing to do with Brian Maurer. That comment has nothing to do with Stroud.
Yeah, it does.
That comment has nothing to do with Harrison Bailey. Why does Vols JP living in East Tennessee know more about the quarterbacks than Jeremy Pruitt? It makes absolutely no sense.
I'm not saying. Oh, you put words in my mouth.
No, because you're validating it. You're validating it and saying,
my comment earlier is I don't know what's going on with the quarterback position. I don't understand why that the guys that Tennessee's recruited and signed over the last two or 3 years can't even push him. Why that they cannot even push Garantano. We've got Corral down at Ole Miss. We've got the Bazelak kid that lit up LSU last week. And I mean, I admit when he came in against Tennessee, I mean, he looked 100 times better. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we've got young quarterbacks in the SEC that are starting for their teams and are playing well. And we've got guys that have been in the program for 2-3 plus years. And they seem to be, I guess, regressing because, Maurer was the next man up last year. Well, they're saying now that he can't even read a defense. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
what's the problem? Is the problem quarterback coaching?
Well, I don't know.
Is Big Jim Chaney the problem?
That's what I said.
Like, to me, when people,
I don't know what it is.
It drives me nuts when people start pointing out, well, at Arkansas, well, at Ole Miss, well, here, that has nothing to do with Tennessee. And the Bilbo Tennessee is calling me and Dobber JG homers. Look, the first week of the season, I was so done with Jarrett Garantano. I was like, he can't even deliver the ball to an open receiver streaking across the field on a drag route. I was so pissed off and frustrated. Like, I get it. I'm not saying that Jarrett Garantano is the guy. I'm saying he is the best guy on this roster.
Is there any consideration to make a change at quarterback?
No, I mean, I don't really know where that would have helped.
That's your head football coach. That's your head football coach saying that.
Well, let me just throw this out here.
And again, I'm not saying that they need somebody else. I'm just saying I don't understand why that we can't develop somebody to at least
that's a problem.
At least compete with JG.
That's a problem. Is it It's either recruiting or coaching. It's one or the other.
Go ahead, Dobber. We're 8-1 in the last 9 games.
Yeah,
we're 8-1.
And who was playing quarterback? Who was playing quarterback, Dobber?
Well, it was a combination of them last year.
Yeah,
if you want to be honest about it.
I mean, everybody's, we can't win. Well, we just came off of winning 8 in a row, and I know it's against lower tier, middle tier SEC teams.
That's where this football team's at right now. Sorry.
I mean, it's. I just, you're delusional if you think that all of Tennessee's problems lie on number 2. Does he contribute to them? Yes. But
does he also drop dimes on Josh Palmer in the end zone? Yes, he does. He does.
I mean, it's absurd to think that one individual down there is the cause of all the problems at Tennessee right now.
And I'm not saying it is.
No. You're not, JP. You're in defense mode. But Deion Cuberson drops $1.99, says he did cost the game. But look at probably, I don't know what that's supposed to say. Look at probably because he is a senior. It is what it is. I'm not saying he's Peyton Manning. All I'm saying is he gives this football team the best opportunity to win. That's it. That's the reality of the situation. And if you as a fan, if you disagree with me, I'm talking to you one-on-one right now. Me and you. It's just me and you. This is Boogie in the chat. Whoever wants to talk to me. If you think you know more than Jeremy Pruitt about football, you're wrong. You're way wrong. You're completely wrong. You're way off base. You do not know more than somebody getting paid millions of dollars in Knoxville to coach this football team. No matter what you think, you're wrong. So it is what it is.
I've got one more comment before we kind of get off this beating a dead horse subject. Cody McElroy threw up a comment there a little bit earlier and was talking about Winky. He said, I believe Winky has a lot to do with the QB problems. This is something that I said at the beginning of last year with all the quarterback struggles, with the entering the year, we thought we were set. We thought Garantano was going to, progress, and it seemed like he hit the reverse button. Winky was let go from the Rams. Jared Goff didn't develop. Winky leaves. Goff becomes one of the best offensive quarterbacks in the league, putting up numbers. You had Eric Dickerson, Hall of Famer for the Rams, publicly criticizing Winky as a quarterback's coach. That's some food for thought. I mean, is it lack of development? I mean, it could be.
See, that's an argument and a conversation I can get behind. Is that a point of concern that Jeremy Pruitt needs to address? And it could be, but to put the downfall of this team on Jarrett Garantano and cry for Harrison Bailey, who none of us have seen take a single snap. Nobody in the media has seen him take a single practice snap. That's what bothers me. And you can call me and Dobber JG homers. You can call us whatever you want. I call it like I see it. And I'm not saying that Jarrett Garantano is this great quarterback. I'm telling you that our head coach believes he is the guy that gives us the best opportunity to win.
At the end of the day, how much do these coaches see these guys on the field, in practice, on film, from
their
games?
Work ethic, their mindset, everything?
We see them for 4 hours, not even 4 hours.
I mean, I fully believe that if they felt like that they was a quarterback down there that could do better than Garantano, they'd be in. I mean, Pruitt proved it last year. I mean, look how many times he pulled him out. I mean, even during that winning streak, that's what I was saying. I mean, some of those games he didn't even start, and then he was pulled out. I mean, look at the bowl game. I mean, he absolutely stunk it up, and then put him back in there in the fourth quarter, and they come back and win. I mean, that's why the fan base is so just over Garantano is his inconsistent play. I mean, I mean, I thought in the first half Saturday, like we said Saturday night, I mean, the dude was 11 for 13, 2 touchdown passes. I mean, and I went back and watched it, and yes, he was getting a lot more pressure in the first half than I realized when I went back and watched that football game. But he was actually, avoiding it, stepping up, keeping from getting sacked. So, he played well. He just couldn't hold on to the football when they started just teeing off on him in the third quarter. So,
which when I rewatched it, an Indy kid was giving me crap Saturday saying that I defend Jarrett Garantano too much, but whatever. I think one of the sacks he should have protected the ball better, and then the one where 3 guys came untouched on the blitz, that ain't on Jarrett Garantano. A strip sack from the blind side when the coverage, the blocking is completely blown, that ain't on him. That ain't on him. And even the interception, as much as it drove me nuts, and it's a terrible throw. When I listened to Swain break it down on Monday, and he's talking about, he's looking to dump the ball off to Eric Gray, and as he goes to throw it, Eric Gray's not even looking for the ball. Like he's not even looking. That's what caused the double pump. Me, when I watched it, I thought it was, oh God, he's not open, and then I'm going to throw it anyway because I'm getting pressured. But why is Eric Gray not looking for the ball? There are so many factors that go into every single play that we as fans don't understand. And it's like on the Pruitt show, something that blew my mind was Pruitt said there were three times defensively on third down that they knew what Georgia was going to do, and they put in the perfect play call for that, and the players didn't execute, and it resulted in a first down. But when we as fans watch this, we say, oh, well, such and such didn't do a good job. Alante Taylor, you don't know what you're looking at. Why did he do this? Why did he do that? But they should have been in perfect position to stop those three plays on third down and weren't. So is it coaching or execution? I think half the time we don't even know as fans. Troy Lee's accusing me of being a JG defender. I just don't think there's anybody better on the roster. Sorry.
Well, and we're not saying he's,
Peyton Manning,
Joe.
He's not even Casey Clausen.
No.
No. Casey Clausen was a stud.
Everybody hated him. Everybody hated him. You can go back and listen to this show.
Everybody hated Dobbs
people on this show hated Josh
Casey
Dobbs.
Clausen.
People on this show hated Josh Dobbs and said he should be benched while I sung his praises. And now everybody's like, well, Jarrett Garantano's no Josh Dobbs. Well, that's funny. Once they're gone, everybody starts coming back around. It's just the way it is.
We got a whole nother game to discuss, though, fellas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just this whole podcast has been about Garantano. It just drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts because there's nothing. We have nothing to base it on. We have nothing to base it on that Harrison Bailey is going to be the next Peyton Manning. Yeah, Jonathan Santos. Dobbs did put his heart on the line for Tennessee, and a lot of people gave him the same hate that Jarrett Garantano gets. A lot of people gave that same hate. You are so full of crap. I can pull the clips of you saying it. You wanted to bench Jason Phillips.
Josh Dobbs never did get the scrutiny and the hate that Garantano.
Did you ever want him benched?
I don't know if I ever said that.
You were a liar, JP.
My thing that I can remember about Dobbs was his the way that his inconsistent throwing I felt like was hurting the team. But knowing now, what he done, I mean,
it's just case
Tennessee wouldn't have won near as many games if he hadn't been the quarterback when he was. So with that,
and Robert
anyway,
Hill, I'm not even comparing Dobbs to Jarrett Garantano. What I'm saying is,
I was going to say,
the backup quarterback is always the sexiest position. We saw it when Dobbs was a quarterback. We're seeing it now. We saw it when Casey Clausen was there. We saw it. We see it all the time. It's just the nature of the beast. This whole podcast is probably my fault. We went on way too long about the quarterback position. You guys want to go ahead and transition and move into the Kentucky game?
Kentucky.
When you look at Kentucky this week, Coach Stoops has done a fantastic job there. They're one of the best teams in the conference when it comes to running the football. They do a nice job, very creative in the run game. Use their quarterback running the football. They have a stable of running backs. A bunch of guys run the ball well there. They got an experienced offensive line. Defensively, they've always created issues. They've been one of the best defenses in our league for the last 3 or 4 years. Really good in the red area. Create a lot of blitzing, varieties in coverages there. So you got to do a nice job, and have always done a nice job in special teams. So just looking at this week, we've got to get back to work, and our kids will have a positive attitude, and we'll go back and do that.
So Tennessee will take on Kentucky inside of Neyland Stadium this Saturday, 12 o'clock kick. We will go live immediately after the game. There will be no tailgate show. So just join us immediately following the game right here on the Talkin Network. Make sure you guys have smashed that thumbs up. We got 60-some, 70-some people watching. It takes 2 seconds. Look, if you hate me and you hate my opinion, you may agree with everything JP says. And typically we're on 2 sides of the fence. So pick one and ride with them and hit that thumbs up in support of that person. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you know when we do go live. I do love everybody here in the chat. I love your opinions. We can all agree to disagree and still love Tennessee football. It is what it is. That's what makes this fan base so much fun, is the passion. JP is one of my best friends on the earth, and we yell at each other on a weekly basis over Tennessee football. But it is what it is. I love you guys. Let's talk about it. Tennessee, Kentucky. Opening thoughts, JP. What do you think? Confidence? No confidence? What do you got?
I mean, I just don't have a whole lot of confidence. I mean, I expect Tennessee to win, and I'd be extremely disappointed if they didn't, because I think Tennessee is the best team out of those two. I think Tennessee certainly is much more advanced on offense. I think, again, that Kentucky will be proven to be one-dimensional. I think that plays into the hands of Pruitt. I do have a concern about our defensive ends. We just don't have a lot of experience there. And they're going to have to be very, very disciplined because Terry Wilson wants to run it, and he is going to run it. So, and all preseason long, we kept talking about or hearing about how good Kentucky's defensive line is. Offensive line is and stuff like that. So, we'll see with that. I mean, I've got confidence. The last 2 years, Pruitt shut them down. I mean, last year, Bowden and, all that, and everybody was talking about how Kentucky was going to run over them and everything. And Tennessee, went up there and held them to I think it was 13 points or 14 points, something like that. So I fully expect Pruitt's defense to come out again. With the quarterback position and everything with that, you just never know. So I fully expect it to be a close game, but I think Tennessee, will find a way to win.
I think you brought up a very key point, and look, obviously everybody knows that Terry Wilson wants to run the football. It is what it is. I was not impressed with him against Mississippi State at all, even though they won 24-2. But Mississippi State played terrible, absolutely terrible. Turned the ball over 6 times, and shoot, Mississippi State, their quarterback looks awful. He looks absolutely terrible, absolutely terrible. But I think it is very crucial what you said. The defensive ends have to play with discipline. They have to keep contained. Keep Terry Wilson boxed up. Don't let him run. They're gonna have a lot of dialed up quarterback runs. But if it's a passing play, I think they got to win first down first and foremost. Win first down. Put them in situations where Terry Wilson has to drop back and pass, and I think they'll be fine. I got the stats here. He was 8 for 20, 73 yards and a touchdown on Saturday
against Mississippi State.
And he I got it here too. He had 6 drops. So his wide receivers aren't helping him. But when you put him in throwing situations, he doesn't scare me at all. And to agree with you further, I think when Pruitt has an opportunity you got a team that's pretty much one-dimensional, I think Pruitt has proven that he's going to find a way to shut that down.
I mean, so far he has. I mean, that's what gives me hope there Saturday. I mean, I would expect it to be. I think it'll be a lot lower scoring game just because, for whatever reason, I just think that Tennessee. I mean, even in those eight game winning streak, I mean, we didn't blow anybody out really. So, until Tennessee can prove that they can beat somebody handily besides a non-conference opponent like UAB or a Vandy, I fully expect it to be close.
I'll take a 35-12 win over Missouri. I think that's what this game's going to look like, something like that.
Yeah, the question is, do we bounce back or do we have a hangover from the second half of the Georgia game? Or, and goodness knows, we should have learned our lesson from the beginning of last year. We don't need to get caught looking ahead to Alabama, because that can't happen. I think Kentucky is probably better than their 1-2 record shows. But like you said, JP, they are pretty much one dimensional. They're going to run the ball. That's their first look. Terry
I think
Wilson
that benefits Tennessee.
Yeah, it
I
does.
really do.
And that's
the way the secondary's played. And let Alante Taylor run downhill and stop the run. I like it.
That's similar game plan to last year. We set up to shut down the run last year. You got Wilson. He's leading the team in rush attempts, rush yards, and rush touchdowns. So that's their go-to right there. That's their bread and butter. It's a run first offense, and I think Pruitt and Ansley are going to scheme some stuff up. I was really kind of disappointed that it was hard to see anything evident from the Georgia game that they kind of dialed up, especially after we talked about the defense in the Missouri game looking a little bit vanilla. But the other thing that I want to throw out here, I also think Kentucky's numbers running the ball, they're a little bit inflated.
They had 400 against Ole Miss, didn't they?
Because of their 408 yards against a horrible Ole Miss defense.
They had 157 yards of total offense.
I know.
Last week against a Mississippi State
points.
team.
Yeah,
and that's happens when somebody turns the ball over six times.
6 times, yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with Dobber. That Ole Miss game Ole Miss they can't catch a cold, man. They can't stop anybody.
Did Kentucky have 1 or 2 pick sixes Saturday? I know they had one.
They had 6 total picks.
Yeah, I know one of them went back for a touchdown. I don't know if they had a second one or not, but yeah, 6 total picks.
Also, if you look at Wilson's rushing yards in that game, he had 50 total rushing yards on 13 carries, but he had a long of 51 yards.
Yeah.
So when you take out sacks and in his negative rushing plays, what did he really do? He had one run of 51 yards. That's about it. I like Tennessee to throttle Kentucky. And you talk about how they respond to that Georgia game, and I see Alan, the king of all troll patrol, in the chat talking about is this a game they're going to overlook, or there is no way they're looking at Alabama after you just got whooped by Georgia. Now, if they had beat Georgia, this would have been a huge trap game for Tennessee.
No, I mean if Tennessee comes out flat Saturday, it's not because that they're looking forward to our Alabama. It's because they're experiencing the hangover from the butt whooping they took previous Saturday.
Yeah,
that's
the second half. They've not gotten over the second half.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think they'll be dialed up and ready to go, but we're going to find out real quick. We're going to find out on Saturday, 12 o'clock kick. Again, we will be live immediately following the game. Guys, make sure you do join us for that. We have 66 people watching live. We're glad that you're here. We go live every single Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, and also on Saturdays immediately following the game. We're about to get into some predictions. Somebody in this chat, somebody hanging out with us right now, it could be you, is going to win a free Talkin VAWLS t-shirt. You can either go with the Talkin VAWLS State Pride logo, or you can go with the old school, just Talkin VAWLS logo, whichever one you want. But you can pick a t-shirt, you can pick the color, let us know the size. We're going to ship it out to you. We'll give you some information on that here in just a moment. But let's go ahead. You guys ready to get into some predictions?
That was all thanks to, was it
Pecan dropped a $25 super chat. He is paying for the t-shirt for you, so we appreciate him for that. We appreciate everybody that drops a super chat. Most of the money does go back into the show, advertising, or whatever. We usually spend most of the money. But let's get into some SEC pick'ems. Do we want to talk about the standings right now? I mean, you can see it there on the screen. If you guys want to take a good look at it, you can see who is winning.
Oh, between us?
Yeah.
You got a 2-game lead?
I really don't even know. I didn't even know Dobber did that bad. I thought we really all picked the same for the most part. But let's get into the SEC pick'ems. Up first, we got number 15, Auburn, going on the road to take on South Carolina. I guess, should we go in order as it is? We've already made our picks. So look, there's no cheating or whatever. So we'll just go in order. I'll go first. I just think Auburn gets it done. I know some of you guys thought that Auburn wasn't as good as we thought early in the season, but I think Auburn goes on the road and gets it done against South Carolina. JP, what do you got?
I think so. Isn't that who I picked?
Oh my gosh. Do you really not remember who you picked? JP. Dobber put this beautiful graphic together for us. I've got all my notes ready, and you don't even know who you picked. So
listen, I've got Auburn to win. I think they're coming out and they're going to play a lot better than they did this past week.
Let me say this: if you're in the chat and you're making predictions along with us, that's cool. That's all fun. Put your predictions in the chat. That's great. Jason Castle just picked Auburn. All that is fine and well. We love you guys playing along. And Jason, I love you, man. I hadn't talked to you in a long time. Good wrestling buddy here in East Tennessee. Big fan of Innovate Wrestling. But yeah, you guys make your picks in the chat. Also, if you want to be entered to enter another T-shirt, this is a completely different giveaway. You guys
or sweatshirt, wasn't it? Isn't that what you said?
Whatever you guys can pick whatever kind of shirt you want. It is the Facebook group, and if you go to Facebook and search Talkin VAWLS under groups, you can see it scrolling across the bottom there.
And yes, please do it in the Facebook group. I messed up last week and put it on the regular Facebook page, but we prefer to keep it in the Facebook group. So please.
Yeah, JP will be posting that. Are you going to post it tonight?
I will. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just be looking for that post in the Facebook group. Make your picks. He's tracking all the standings. Whoever wins that gets a Talkin VAWLS t-shirt or sweatshirt or the 3/4 sleeve, whatever you guys want. Whoever wins the pick'ems. And do you have the standings on that, JP, by chance?
He posted them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're in the group. They're in the group. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. The next game, obviously LSU and Florida, has been postponed. So let's move on to Ole Miss at Arkansas. This one, Lane Kiffin, man, he is playing on house money. What he did against Alabama, can anybody stop this Lane train? I don't think so. I'm going Ole Miss all the way. JP?
Yeah, I'm actually interested in this game because I tell you, I mean, you have to be impressed what Arkansas has done this year. Should have beat Auburn. Should have beat them. The refs screwed them out of that game by that blown call there at the end. And, they played Georgia tough in the first half against them. And then, of course, obviously, beat Mississippi State. So, but I'm telling you, I hate to say it, but what Lane Kiffin done to Alabama and Nick Saban last Saturday night, yeah, I know they gave up 64 points or whatever and didn't win, but I'm telling you right now, Tennessee's not scoring 46 points on Alabama next Saturday. I can promise you that. So, I was extremely impressed with that, and I think that this could actually be a shootout. I think it could be another high-scoring game, but I think I'll have to go with Ole Miss.
Well, my pick last week, I got burned by the Razorbacks in the pick over. I picked them over Auburn, and of course, that's not going to happen again this week. I like Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and that offense to keep rolling.
All right, next game, number 11, Texas A&M goes on the road to take on Mississippi State, and this is where I'm kicking myself. I wish we had not made these picks before the games on Saturday, because that Mississippi State team that I watched was absolute garbage, but I was banking on the air raid. I was banking on the Pirate himself, Coach Leach. I thought maybe I could pick an upset special here and try to build on my lead. I'm going to be way wrong, but I'm going Mississippi State.
I think that this could be a huge momentum for Texas A&M to come back and beat Florida last week. Obviously a huge win for them after coming off of that loss to Bama. I don't know what's going on with Mike Leach at Mississippi State. I think the SEC's figured out already after one game how to defend the run and gun air raid of Mike Leach. So I think Texas A&M just has too much talent. I don't think Mississippi State will be able to stop them. I'm going with A&M.
Yeah, I've got A&M too. I think Mississippi State's opening game was kind of an anomaly. I just don't see him getting it done against Jimbo, and I'm going with the Aggies here.
No respect for the Pirate. I get it. I lost all respect after watching the game this week. Obviously, next we got Vanderbilt, Missouri, which has been postponed, and that brings us to look, we're always going to pick Tennessee last, but this is the game of the week. This is the game everybody is talking about. Number 3, Georgia goes on the road to Alabama. And look, as a Tennessee fan, I got to pull for Alabama here, because if we're playing that game where we sit here and say, well, if Tennessee has a chance to win the East, we need Georgia to lose. But if I'm picking this game, yes, it's postponed. Sorry, Jordan. I get excited. I get ahead of myself. Look at the graphic. It says postponed. But thank you for correcting me. I love you. But this is a huge game, and obviously I want Alabama to win, but this goes back to the beginning of the year. I've been preaching how good Georgia is, and I was told, well, Auburn's not as good as everybody pretended, and Stetson Bennett's not a good quarterback. And I said, guys, he's a good quarterback. I think he does enough to help this team win. No, you're wrong, but you don't know what you're talking about. Stetson Bennett sucks. Georgia's overrated. Auburn's not as good as we thought. I think this Georgia football team goes on the road and puts it to Alabama. I think Georgia gets the win on the road. That's you.
So
JP.
you're going with the Dogs.
Dogs get the upset. Yep.
I mean, this COVID deal may turn this all upside down, and it'll be interesting to see if this game ends up getting played and Saban's not there. But until Georgia proves it on the field that they can beat Bama, I'm going Alabama. I think that Alabama will be ready to amend the defensive shellacking that they took last week at the hands of Ole Miss. And I'm telling you, if Tennessee was able to get any kind of pressure on Stetson Bennett, the guy would have turned the ball over 3 or 4 times. He turned it over once, should have been twice, and that wasn't even with a whole lot of even pressure or anything like that. I'm just not sold on him. I mean, it's a great story, and he played obviously well enough to win that football game last Saturday, but I just don't see him being able to do it. I just don't think Georgia is as good offensively as that they're going to need. I think Alabama is able to score on them. I think it should be pretty close, but I still think Bama will win by about 7.
This matchup is going to be Georgia's defense versus Alabama's offense. That's what you've got to key in here on. I like Alabama's defense better than Georgia's offense. I think Sarkisian is going to step up, and I think that Alabama is going to step up and win one for old Saban as he's in quarantine. Like JP brought up a good point, though. Will there be further implications with COVID throughout the football team? We talked about it at the top of the show. You've got the head coach, the athletic director. Think about how many players, assistants, everybody Saban's come in contact with. This is a big game in the conference, a big game nationally. But can it be altered because of this? I had a couple of people up here already say, "Oh, it's going to get canceled. It'll get canceled tomorrow." We'll see. We talked about earlier. Most of the schools are testing players daily. So I think Vandy was below the minimum. What was it? 30, 35? Isn't that the magic number?
No, they have to have 53, I
I thought it
think.
was 50 something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I guess
53 and
maybe they've got 30 some out. But anyway, I'm taking Alabama in this one. I'm just you got to go with the team that's got their number right now.
All right, that brings us to the main event of the evening, Tennessee, Kentucky. Again, 12 o'clock kickoff. Right now, we do have 66 people watching. We're glad that you're here. I hope you'll join us immediately following that game on Saturday. We'll go live within a few minutes after it ends, regardless of what the event says. Sometimes I set it for 4:30, just because of the way that Facebook live streaming works. But I hope you guys will join us for the post-game show. It's always a lot of fun. But this one, look, I think Tennessee bounces back well after this second half of the Georgia game. I think the offensive line is going to have something to prove because, look, just 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about how great they were and calling them TVA, and then the Indy kid comes out in the day after video and calls them Boone Dam. These kids are going to be pissed, and they're going to have something to prove, and I think they're going to prove it against this Kentucky football team. Like we touched on earlier, I truly believe that Pruitt and Ansley will dial something up on defense, so I'm going Tennessee wins big, 31-17 over Kentucky.
I think it'll be close. I just don't think that for whatever reason this offense just seems to just kind of just grind and struggle, and I think Kentucky's got a pretty decent defensive front. So I think probably more of those issues that we continually see with the offensive line. But I do think that Pruitt and Ansley will have enough on defense. I think Henry Toto will have a huge game with all of the rushes. I could see him, probably 15 plus tackles Saturday. So I think Tennessee ultimately gets it done, but it'll be close, 23-16 Vols.
I've got this much closer. I'm going with Tennessee to get the win, but I think it's another one that they grind out, and I think that Samaglia gets a little bit of redemption from the kicks he's missed earlier in the year. I've got 27-23. I think that the offense is just they're at a stagnant point. I think there's questions on the line. There's questions at quarterback. It's something that if they start fast, I think they might not look back. But I think it's just going to be another one of those slugfests that Tennessee always seems to be in. And I think it's going to be close.
I agree, Dobber.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Wayne's not happy with me. Why are you not happy with me, Wayne? Look, that post-game show after Georgia, when there's 200 people in the chat, I cannot filter that chat. And that's the unfortunate beast. Tonight's show, we got 70-some people watching. It's easy for me to scroll through all of your guys' comments and make sure, we're interacting with everybody. But when there's 200+ people in here, man, I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It takes a super chat to get your comment read because the chat's going so fast. It's no disrespect. I love you guys that are here week in and week out. But I saw where somebody in the chat Saturday said Boogie only cares about money. That's not the case. It's just too hard to keep up. I wish you guys could sit in the producer's chair where I'm at right now and see this chat scrolling and trying to look at my notes. It ain't an easy thing to do, man. But we love you, Wayne. You're part of this show, man. You've been on this show more than anybody that's ever dropped a super chat. We love you guys. We're glad that you're here. But I
wonder if Wayne's going to auction off that homemade JG jersey that he
probably should. He probably should.
I'm telling you, that was what was one of the best moments that we've ever had.
That was so great
on this. I mean, that was great.
I didn't know what Wayne was going to do. I didn't know.
I didn't either. And I mean, we were all so pumped in the pregame before that, and golly, I was saying that Garantano was going to end up having a statue built after him at Tennessee and all kinds of stuff. Well,
goodness gracious.
Dang, man.
Goodness gracious. That's the highs and
emotions get the best of me.
Highs and the lows of a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
Did we do Dobber, do you have a sticker giveaway?
Yes. We had Hillbilly Sportsman and IC86. They were the closest, 33-17 and 34-20. So I will shoot you guys a message, or you can go ahead and send us a DM on Facebook or Twitter or whatever with your address, and I will get those sent out to you guys.
Let me hit this super chat, then we'll tell you guys how you can win a free T-shirt for the Kentucky game. Kenny Ashby for $4.99 says, made 2 live shows in a row just to help support Go Vols. We appreciate that support, man. 100%. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the super chat. We definitely appreciate it. Alan says, I love this show. Alan, I love you, buddy. You're the only Georgia fan that I even partially like, just a little bit. I may have been a little irritated.
Golly, I'm telling you what, I think you know Alan's going to end up having a beer together somewhere, and you're going to end up wearing a Georgia hat or something.
He's changed. Excuse me, JP. I started to agree with you. Now I'm getting a little irritated. I got a little irritated with Alan on Saturday, but look, man, he's a Georgia fan, but he's here every week hanging out with us, talking college football. He deserves the opportunity to run his mouth and talk a little trash on Saturday. That's what makes college football what it is. Guys, we are going to give away what, Dobber? What you got?
I had one more thing that I had written down in my notes.
Oh, well, he's going to go back and break down something.
I had one more thing, and I forgot it, ran right over it. We're going for 18 in a row in Knoxville.
Oh, well, way to jinx it. Can I change my pick?
It's been since 1984 since Kentucky's beat Tennessee in Neyland.
Oh, wow. This is all ruined now.
So, better not, Dobber.
Thanks, Dobber.
So I'm just throwing that out there. I know we had the what was it, 25 games in a row a couple years ago that when they beat us in Lexington, but still got the streak in Knoxville alive. So like I said, I expect them to keep it going, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah, the chat saying, go ahead and give me Kentucky now.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you want to win a Talkin Vols t-shirt, you can pick the color, you can pick the size, you can pick either the original Talkin Vols logo. Actually, I can show you guys. You can pick either, where's it at? You can either pick this logo, the old school Talkin Vols logo, or you can pick the new state pride logo, whatever you want to pick. But the way, enter to win.
You still got
yeah,
that.
you can get the cartoon emojis, whatever t-shirt you want. But the way to enter is whoever gets how many rushing yards is Tennessee going to have against Kentucky on Saturday? If we have a tie, then it's going to be whoever posts their answer first. So as soon as this video ends, let it process. Get in the comment section. You put it in the chat now, it doesn't matter. Put it in the chat now, it doesn't matter. As soon as the video processes, hit the comment section. How many rushing yards will Tennessee have on Saturday? Put it in the comments. Closest to that number wins. If there's a tie, whoever posts it first gets it.
Is it closest without going over?
I think we'll just do closest period. Closest period. Since we can say whoever posted it first wins. So
make sure, guys, that you do this, that you put your comment after this uploads, because this live chat does not save.
Yeah,
I see some of them putting golly innocent culprit. If we only rush for 69 yards Saturday,
it's gonna be a bad day.
Woo!
Bad day. All right, we're about to wrap this thing up. Like JP said, make sure you come back and leave it in the comment section after we go off the air. But that's going to wrap this thing up. Man, we went overtime tonight, but that SEC Pick'em's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad you brought that up and brought it to the table, JP. But that's going to wrap it up for 101 episodes of Talkin Vols. For Vols JP, for Dobber, my name is Boogie Bentley, and I just got one thing left to say, and that is go Big Orange.